Hello and welcome to K-Stop Fuses K-Pop Podcast. Hello everybody, this is Jeff Benjamin, and as always I am joined by the Wonder Girls to my Miss A, the Wonder Girl to my Miss A, Tina Zhu.
Hello, everyone.
I had a couple pairings in my head that today, and
He was
I
trying
went
to
with
decide which one to go
I went with
for.
that one. Yeah,
Okay,
I'll save the
alright, I
others
like
for
that.
another day. I don't know. Yeah.
Welcome back to K-Stop.
Hello.
So we have another jam-packed episode as
Oh
always.
yes. Oh yes.
And some, I feel like we got some dope comments.
We got
this
some
week, too,
adorable comments.
in response
loved
to
it.
we talked about BTS last week, and also in honor of Valentine's Day. So we talked about some love songs we liked.
Yes.
And we had crossed the 1-year anniversary mark. So a lot happened in the past couple weeks.
I know. It was just so much good stuff. Yeah, I'm just gonna jump right into these comments. Might as well, right? We got a comment from at Rushina B, who is RUSHEENAB at Twitter, and she mentioned us on with the hashtag K-Stop, and she wrote, "You had some good theories for Spring Day," which of course everyone knows is BTS's new single, and we had some theories about the music video, what its like underlying message was. But she also think that the music video is a tribute to the Sewol ferry victims.
I think it's pronounced Sewol ferry or something.
Yeah.
But like the very tragic ferry boating incident that happened that killed many students. So how long ago was that?
That was
like
2014.
Yeah.
Not K-pop's best year, if you remember. It was just sort of like a tough year.
Yeah.
Overall, it was the same year as like the Ladies' Code tragedy. It's just kind of a tough year in general. But I think that totally continues, because a lot of, remember, I feel like there's been like a lot of commentary that like other music videos have been about that tragedy. Of course, I remember like some people thought what's it called, Red Velvet's One of Those Nights, or One of These Nights, was about the tragedy as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's
I can definitely see that.
yeah, so I don't know, it's very very interesting, but yeah, I could definitely for sure see it. So that's an interesting take. I've been seeing that around, but I couldn't find anything like definitive, so I didn't bring that up. But we also, thank you for the comment, Rashina. Cool take, or maybe not cool, but maybe an interesting take. Don't want to say tragedies.
It did not cross our minds on first listen and discussion.
We have another theory this came from Vancity K-Pop at Rachel, RACHEL_Gray, GRAY 31. And she wrote to Tina and I saying, "I think BTS's Spring Day is evoking that darkness can be momentarily, that you can choose to leave it with." And she said that with the hashtag K-Stop. And I thought that was more so in line with what we were saying, right? That like, things get better, spring comes, cold feelings, dark feelings aren't forever, etc.
Yeah, and I remember one of the members lit a match in the dark room, if you remember that, right when they said that line about how darkness doesn't last forever, or something to that extent, and they lit the match, and that was, I guess that was timed appropriately to match that lyric, maybe. I don't think I'm making that up, so.
I missed that. Good moment, Tina.
It's real quick though.
Nice. Love that. Yeah, I love that too. Yeah, we're right on board with that, and yeah, I do think it was just a really special release. We got on the other side of the episode, we also talked about our favorite love songs for Valentine's Day last week. Daniel Van Voren at Yeller Van, YELLERVAN on Twitter, shared some of her favorite love songs. I love all these. So she has For the Innocents, EXO, What Is Love, For the Innocence, she chose EXO's What Is Love. For the Intensity, she chose Hot Felt's Ain't Nobody. Love that song.
Very intense.
It really is intense, but still a love song at that same time. So I love that. I like What Is Love too. And Kim Sung Kim Sung Q's KYU. How do you pronounce KYU?
KYUQ.
Q, yeah, right. And Control with a K, of course.
I don't think I've heard that.
I'm not familiar with that one either. I need to check it out. So thanks. You guys can always, by the way, send us songs or send us things to check out, and we like always do. I love seeing like new music, like random little things you might not ever check. I mean, do you remember like when like someone sent us the Brave Girl song that we like were obsessed with, and we
then we became obsessed.
It wasn't even like on our radar that day, and then we added it last minute to the show. Like we love your guys' suggestions, so please send them.
Unless it's like a traditional ballad, then I can tell you right off the bat, don't send it to me, please.
I'll try it out at least.
Send it to Jeff.
Yeah. And I will block Tina from the mention. And last but not least, this comment. Actually, Tina and I like talked about it like at work the other day when it came.
It cracks me
up. Yeah, this came from What Will Said. This is he is at WELILE_21, who said, so I'm late to the hashtag 1 year of K-Stop party, which I love that, by the way. Hashtag 1 year of K-Stop. Send us your favorite memory, even though it was a couple episodes ago, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But he wrote, but my favorite hashtag K-Stop moments have to be Tina calling Yerin a thought, which I agree with.
For her Paradise release, right?
Yeah.
The girl was working the
She
thottiness.
was working the body, the everything.
Yep.
And Jeff's iconic duo names. And I agree. They're all iconic. So what can I say?
They're very impressive. He comes up with a new one every week.
I know. You guys don't know. Sometimes I forget. But but there's sometimes then those are the really bad ones. But I had a couple in my pocket this week. Just saying. But yes, no, you guys had so many awesome comments this week. I would love seeing comments. Like I love seeing your guys' interactions. I love seeing what you guys have to say. So thank you so much. You know, you can leave them on, like you were saying, hashtag K-Stop. Hit us up individually. I'm at Jeff__Benjamin.
And I'm at Hey_Tina with 3 A's.
Yes. Confusing names, but we always read your comments.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And yeah, you can leave a comment on Fuse.tv. We see if you guys share it there. So thanks so much, as always. But last but not least, of course, we also have the poll that we do every week of our 3 of the releases we talk about and who, gets the who wins, the poll, or we ask you guys to vote on your favorite releases. This one, I think this is another this is quite remarkable. So BTS won with Spring Day.
What?
Not totally, surprising. But they won with 98.7% of the votes. I can't even make up these numbers.
Wow.
NCT Dream came in a not so close second with 0.86% of the votes.
Almost a whole percent.
Almost. If I was
got
rounding
there.
off, I would give them, I would make it, BTS with 99, NCT Dream with 1, and Sunny got 0.43% with Counselor.
Well, that doesn't take away from the very, bold message
Yes.
of his release.
100%. No, just because
But,
people didn't vote for you.
Yeah.
You might still be in second place.
Popular vote.
We love all these releases, in particular NCT Dream. And just kidding. Tina just rolled her eyes at me.
Anyway.
But moving forward, though, we have some cool stuff this week. Actually, if last week was very male heavy, this week is very diverse, which I love.
Yeah.
But I mean, who's
Totally.
first on your list, Tina?
Why don't we actually kick it off with a release that's it's had a few days to cook and marinate in the K-pop world. I don't know whatever
Cook
the non-food related
in the
term.
K-pop kitchen.
In the K-pop.
The K-pop oven.
We talked about this co-ed group, and they are currently the only co-ed group in K-pop right now.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have been doing very well internationally, despite not having officially debuted.
Yeah.
This is their second pre-debut release single called "Don't Recall," and this is of course K.A.R.D. We discussed their first release, Nana, right?
Oh,
Nana, yeah, which did very, very well, and it's such a bop. Everyone loves it. I think everyone loves it. I don't want to speak for everyone, but yeah. So they are back with a much anticipated follow-up single.
Yeah.
And it more or less kind of follows their they're very unique. And when I say unique, it's unique for K-pop. And I think that's
Mhm.
why they're doing well internationally, because this is a sound that kind of more aligns with Western trends currently, kind of a tropical house, synth pop,
Yeah.
slightly hip hop mixed sound.
Lots of lots of like lots of vocal drops and beat
Yeah.
drops and things like
There's
that.
a lot of
Distorted vocals, etc.
yeah, and very very intense instrumentals
Mhm.
in there. The production they definitely came through again with the production.
Yeah, and honestly, I was kind of worried because I really like Oh Na Na. Like I still
I
listen to it
love it.
all
Yes.
the time, and I was like, this is such a cool sound for
Mhm.
them, and such a cool idea. That it's very trendy. It's
Mhm.
very internationally trendy. It's so cool. I was like. Because K-pop's known for like flipping concepts on you and flipping sounds on you.
Mhm.
I was so nervous it was gonna be I don't even know what I was just nervous it was not going to be. But I think this was a really good extension of
Right.
what they did initially
Right.
while keeping it fresh but still giving fans what they liked in that first
Totally.
release.
That's exactly what I hope they would do,
Yeah.
because they haven't officially debuted yet. They really need to I guess be firm in their image and really let people know who they are, what sound that they're like, what they're about, what sound they really enjoy, and
Yeah.
things like that. And I think that's what confuses me most, is when artists kind of go all over the place. They want to try everything, and I don't really know what they're going for.
Especially so early in your career.
Exactly. So I think they really made a good call in that sense. I think this one, don't recall. I think the message is a little stronger.
Mhm. Oh, okay.
Because like Don't Recall is a very kind of like strong message. Like we're gonna leave each other behind, and I'm gonna move forward, and I don't. It's kind of petty, and I guess that's why I like it. They're like, oh, I don't remember. I don't really know what you're talking about. Like, what?
I don't recall.
I don't recall what we were before, and I'm gonna move on, and
Yeah.
even though it's lonely, but this is for the best.
Right.
And I do think there's also, despite that, there is definitely like kind of a more moody, darker sound this time around.
Yeah, for sure. Especially at the beginning.
Yeah. And I think when we talked about Oh Na Na, we were saying how the release felt a little too female heavy, where I didn't,
Yep.
where we didn't really get a sense of who BM, and I believe he pronounces it Joseph. I don't know, because it's like J period and SEPH. I think it's Joseph.
That's kind of clever.
Yeah. So
I think, or maybe not.
But then this time around, you really really heard the male vocals.
Yes.
And that added to kind of the more moody, sultry, brooding sound.
100%. Yeah, that was one of my notes as well, is that, it felt like this one was much more balanced, and like definitely, especially because, in the last one, it felt very, almost like a girl band release. Like just, it didn't totally evoke the idea that this is a co-ed group.
Right.
It was more female heavy with a couple male, cameos. But this one felt more it felt like this is what a co-ed group can do.
Totally.
And I think they're just like really doing it well.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I didn't really like all the auto tune at the beginning part, if I'm being a little petty, but if I'm being a little nitty gritty. But no, I think people are really liking this. I don't know if you saw this, but this song like went into like the top 100 on US iTunes. I tweeted, I had like screenshot and tweeted
I saw your
it,
tweets about it. Yeah.
which I was just shocked by, because I had, it used to be like this. It was a remarkable feat if, I don't know, Girls' Generation got in like the top 200, at like 187.
Right.
K.A.R.D, this group that hasn't debuted, has like one music video, is sending this new song like out of, into like, I think it hit like number 65 or something.
They haven't personally done any real promotion for this. They haven't gone on any shows because they haven't debuted yet officially.
And which I think must just really give, I think they've been doing a lot of social media interactions with fans too and
Oh, they
stuff
are
like
good
that.
on social media.
I think they've been doing a lot of
BM.
V live stuff,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and I think they're like pretty active on Twitter and stuff like that
Yeah.
and Instagram. So, I mean, hey, that is what you should be doing. I mean,
Yeah.
BTS, like for example, is so good at that stuff. They're always tweeting, like, oh my
Mhm.
gosh. So yeah, it's just like. Yeah, it's just I think they're
Yeah.
being really smart about who would have thought, you know,
Right.
that this is working out. But
Did
yeah.
you like the overall aesthetic of the video? I guess it's
Mo-
similar shadowy like the
Similar,
first one.
yeah, which again I'm not hating at
Yeah.
all, you know. I'm happy they didn't, you know, move too far away. I thought I thought it actually was a good move because it further, you know, gets people comfortable not only with their sound, their
Mhm.
look, their sound, their aesthetic, but also just like with a co-ed band in general, you
Yeah.
know. Like it's
Yeah.
good that they're kind of maybe not going full-fledged, you know, a hardcore with like, you know, all out promotions yet.
Right.
But yeah, I mean the only critique I would say is that like sometimes their dance moves weren't that in sync, you know, but like
Yeah, I was gonna say if I
a
had
little rough.
the thing is I did like the fact that they had essentially like a dance stage in the all white
Mm.
you know, kind of it cuts away. It just creates some
Yeah.
contrast in the video.
Totally.
Because there's obviously a lot happening in the video with the
Yeah.
shadows and the patterns. There's a lot of pattern texture,
Yeah.
even more in this video with like the rug prints that they were
Yeah,
laying
I like that
on, and then
scene.
the you know just a lot of
The
a lot of patterns, the
projections on
projections,
the white
yeah.
walls. Yeah, totally.
So yeah, like aesthetically, I liked the dance scene, but I agree, like it was a little awkward at times, but. I think overall they chemistry wise,
Yeah.
you know, the four of them look great together.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Do you is there still a fifth member that's supposed to join the group?
I think
What's
they
up
are
with that?
officially four members, but they have what they call a hidden card or a hidden
Yeah,
member.
what is that?
But they only promote they're either heard on a song or they may or may not perform with them when they promote the song is how I understand it, but it's not like an additional member.
I
I
see.
think per release there might be one,
so
but
maybe
they
it's
are
like
officially only four. Not only, but they are officially four members.
okay. All right.
So that was a little confusing because like
I was
what
trying to
it,
figure it
is
out.
Chi Young or Young? Was a member of K.A.R.D, the youngest one who was on the first release. She was
Young
the
Ji-
hidden
Oh,
one.
she was?
She was the hidden one.
I didn't know that. I
but
like
they
her.
didn't promote her that heavily. You know, it wasn't.
Interesting.
I didn't
So,
see too much
They'll kind of
info
keep it
about it.
probably in like the DSP family, like
Yeah,
just, you know, using those trainees, I guess, or something.
maybe. So
I mean, it's an interesting strategy for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but I guess between the two, which single do you prefer so far?
I mean, Onana has such a bop. It's so fun. But if I'm, you know, looking a little deeper, looking for something a little that scratches the surface a little,
Mhm.
you know, more. I mean, Don't Recall is still, you know, great melody is great. It's still catchy as well, you know. I'll probably say Onana for now, but like talk to me in a month and we'll see how.
Same,
We'll
yeah.
see how it goes.
I think sonically I like Onana better.
Yeah.
It's just catchier to me. But I
Yeah.
think that as an overall package, I like Don't Recall.
I think
more.
that's how I feel as well.
So
Yeah.
and like everyone seems to really like them.
Yes.
So I'm really excited for the third release.
Yes. Oh my
The
gosh.
pressure is on now.
So with this third release, will then they promote it, or are they going to do 3 and then it's done, and then, you know,
I
full
think
fledged?
it's new after that. I think these are
Ooh.
just pre-debut singles.
Yeah. Wow. I'm so excited.
So
Who would have
this
thought?
is a really interesting debut concept.
Yeah.
Or method. Yeah.
Well, I kind of like it too because it's like how many K-pop groups come out, they just look awkward on stage, they don't look finished, they don't seem
Yeah.
ready. You know, like why I like this idea. It's almost kind of like it's almost like getting like being like a viral star or something. Like, you know, you put out music videos, like people get intrigued by you.
True.
You know, who am I thinking? Like The Weeknd, for example, put
Mhm.
out a ton of mixtapes before anyone even knew what he looked like, much less, you
Mhm.
know, like, or like before he ever hit a big stage, you know?
Mhm.
So it's almost like, I get it. I don't know. It's cool.
Yeah. No,
It's definitely
I
new for
agree.
K-pop.
I agree. This is innovative
Yes.
for K-pop for sure.
Yes. All right. But no more card gushing. We must move on. But yeah, let us know what you guys think. We're particularly excited, of course, to hear what you guys have to say about them. Who's next on our list, Tina?
Why don't we move into a solo artist.
Oh.
I guess I could speak for both Jeff and myself. We both love Dean.
Yes.
And we've been waiting for him to release something because I think he's been teasing his upcoming, I think he has an upcoming EP, right? It's like instead of Trouble, it's Jungle.
I think you're right.
Isn't that what it is?
I believe.
So,
you're correct.
yeah, well, he released a singles, I guess.
Or a double single.
Single, I don't know, project that contained 2 tracks, with one being the lead single, much like how Day 6 will release, a singles album with 2 tracks, and one is the lead single. And the project name is called Limbo, and the single name is, well, there's 2 titles. I think it's officially Come Over.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know if the Korean name officially translates to Beyond or vice versa. But I've seen Come Over, I think, is the official one that at least Spotify went by.
Yeah, same with,
But I also saw Beyond on like YouTube and stuff, so I don't know.
Maybe it was, a confusion.
I don't know.
First.
But
interesting.
Yeah, and it features 15 Ann's Yerin.
Yeah,
Baek
Yerin.
Yep.
Love her.
And
Love 15
Ann. I'm not too familiar with her. You probably know a lot more about her music than I do, but she went solo like a year or 2 ago, right? With her own release.
Yeah, both the girls in 15 Ann have done solo stuff, and it's both really good. They're such talented girls.
Yeah, she has a very refreshing voice. I really like. Very light.
Yeah. It's a good compliment to Dean, I think.
For sure, yeah. So, this track really surprised me production-wise, because I feel like as a whole, it's not too far off from what he's done before. But it definitely feels lighter. But then in the beginning, I feel like he doesn't really use drums like that.
Oh, okay.
The drums were really, really heavy in the beginning, but then they kind of mellowed out a little bit. But in the beginning, when you first heard the drums, you thought it'd be a different kind of song.
Yeah. No, I actually 100% agree. Yeah. Because, well, it came a little heavier at first. It was definitely not very, for lack of a better word, Dean-esque. Or just that, reflecting on it, I think of this song when I think about it. If I want to play it, I get that dreamy, feel good, cozy sort of feel with it. But
it's very spring day kind of.
Yeah, but that opening definitely doesn't fit in that what I took away from that song. And I wonder if almost that was on purpose or something.
I would think it was intentional.
Yeah, kind of
just
to mess
to
with you at first,
throw you off a little bit at first.
I love that.
What did you? I guess we can kind of talk about the video as well, because the video was very, very different, because there wasn't, it wasn't live action. It wasn't.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed by that.
It was a drawing.
I don't know. I'm not here for these animation videos, K-pop. Okay.
I will say within animation videos though, I thought his was very interesting and intriguing, because it was just it really played on lines and minimalism, and it was really cool how they were able to portray 2 individuals and kind of really match the song just through sketches. Which it was cool, but it definitely would have been cool to see the 2 of them actually act out this flirtatious scenario that they're singing about, right? They're like, I can't stop talking to you. I can't stop thinking about you. You make my heart melt. We could just be holding the phone and we're not even talking about anything, but we're just really vibing.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that could have been made into such a cute music video. Right?
Yeah, totally. And if I'm being selfish, a lot of even our friend, our coworker Mark, he was telling me about the Dean song before I even got to listen to it.
He was all about it.
Right. But Dean has is on at least the radars at least of R&B fans, or people that are kind of into that world, if they're kind of open-minded and stuff like that, and in a very greedy way. I would have loved to give some promo to Yerin and get a little love for her too, just to kind of keep the if one rises, they all rise, it's kind of like that sort of thing. And, granted though, even Mark, shout out to Mark, he was like, who is this girl or whatever? And I was like, oh, she's actually in this duo and they're really good. You should check out this. Yeah, it was kind of like, like it can only further pique other people's interests because,
Yeah.
Dean's done, I think the kind of more like he's done, Zico and Crush and Geico and things
Right.
like that. But then, he's also done
And they were,
Anderson
I guess,
Paak and
more predictable, not in a negative sense, but it makes
no.
sense. It fits his brand,
Yeah, yeah,
essentially.
yeah. This was him doing something different too.
Totally,
So,
yeah.
and like granted, he did some videos with them, some not, but yeah, it just sort of would have been a cool, I don't know, maybe I'm just being a little greedy right now cuz
No,
I
but I
just like
mean, I feel like anytime, I guess maybe because of in my mind, the success that was Starlight, I thought he had really great
Oh,
chemistry with
duh.
Taya.
Yeah, of
Right. So
course.
I was like, oh, okay, now he's working with another solo
Mm,
female, but from a different agency, a different
totally.
company.
Yeah. Get those connections,
and
Dean. Yeah.
and like, but she's also a little younger.
Mhm.
So I don't, not that would like make any difference, but it just
Yeah.
would have been cool to see him interact
It would have
in a music video with another solo female.
I do agree. I do agree.
But yeah, I don't know why they decided to do that, or if it was a time and budget thing. I don't know.
Yeah. She is 19. Okay, I was worried for a second she was still like 15 years
Oh
old.
no, that would have been okay. Let's chill. But no, like it definitely would have been cute doing, strolling in the park and cutesy things. But maybe that would have been a little bit too similar to Starlight. I don't know. But again, this was his release, not
Yeah.
he's not the featured artist on here, so maybe this aesthetic fit his album, or not album, his singles EP aesthetic more, or something like that, where he wanted to keep it more low key maybe.
I also feel like Dean's pretty open to like releasing videos later, so maybe we'll still get one. Who knows?
Maybe.
Hasn't he done that a couple times? Like released a video like
I
kind of
think so.
out of nowhere, even though the song had been out for a while.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's done.
Well, fingers crossed.
Yeah, no, but all in all, if this is sort of like a preview to what's to come with the album, I'm
Yeah.
like
I'm
excited.
ready.
I'm very excited.
Yeah. I love the wee oh wee part in the chorus. It just makes me so happy. Yeah, I think he released it at a perfect time too, with March approaching.
Yeah.
I think it's a really great sound.
I hope March is approaching. I hope it's not a cold March too.
It doesn't. It doesn't seem like it, but like with all this global
60
warming
this
happening,
week. I know,
things
my
are
gosh.
weird. We're
Global
like, oh,
warming
the Earth is burning, but hey,
But
I like the
hey,
fact that I
it's
can
strangely convenient.
not wear a jacket.
Yeah.
So.
Oh gosh, yes. Anyway, so let us know what the weather's like in your area, if you like Dean's new single, etc., etc. We just want to connect with our K-stoppers. We love you guys.
Also, shout out to people in California in certain parts are experiencing the flood, where I heard it's pretty bad.
Yeah, Fuse was there over the weekend for a music festival, for the Air and Style Festival, and I just was hearing how crazy it was. People, so much rain, so much, like flooding, things like that. Like,
a friend of mine, Alex, he had to deal with a bunch of ants going into his house because with the flooding,
they're scared.
They're
taking
shelter or something, and he posted a photo. It looked really, really bad. It was like I couldn't even look at it. It was so gross.
This is like Noah's Ark. Oh my gosh.
So I mean,
wow.
Damn. So hopefully that
shout out
shit
to our Californians
dies down.
Yes, we're thinking of you guys.
Yeah.
And we're also thinking of Twice. TT. Yes, well, not TT anymore.
We saved. I guess I guess we could say the biggest release for last. It also kind of ties into our deep cut. More on that later.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So
here we
Go
are.
for it. This
yeah.
is,
Okay.
I
Here
know
we
you
go.
like them a lot.
Yes. Yeah. Probably.
I'm scared to talk about Twice after what happened last time.
Okay.
So.
We are gonna. We are gonna forget those dark times, and we're gonna move forward to the light. No, Twice is here, or Twice is back with their fourth overall single release. It's called Knock Knock. It is so their last album was called the Twice Coaster Lane 1 album, and there were a lot of theories about like if a Lane 2 was coming or what it all meant. And we actually got like a little tease of this song in the TT video, which was, of course, the lead single from Twice Coaster Lane 1. But yeah, this is now the lead single for Lane 2. It's like a repackage basically. They included another new song called Ice Cream. But Knock Knock, I was actually, Twice songs have kind of been hit or miss on me, but they tend to grow on me. But right from the start, I really do like this song. It's like I think it's a really, really good pop song. It's just, I really thought the production was something different for them. It has this really nice kind of like, I know Twice is all about like bubbly, fun, shouty, like, very fun.
Chanty.
Yeah, those kind of, that's very them. But this one, and while it still has a lot of that, in the vocals, the production I think really stands out because it just like had some really like nice lush guitars to it.
They
Like
amped
it was
up the production for sure.
Yeah, it's very smooth. It's very like, and I know, it's of course, the song is very like not like it's very like still that chanty, peppy sound. But the production I think is almost like fascinating how they mixed it.
They even had a break in the middle at around like, what was it, the 2:20 mark, where there was no singing. It was just the background.
Right.
They honed in on that, and
yeah,
that was what really drew me in. I listened to
Really?
it getting ready this morning, and I was like, as soon as I started watching them. Well, this is what I did first. I was like, let me not be kind of what's the word, like almost like discouraged from liking the song by watching the visual first. I know the visual is going to be something similar to what it was before. It's a little too like a little too kind of I don't want to say immature, childlike.
It's very colorful, very playful, very
right. So
like.
I knew I wasn't probably gonna like it, so I just listened to the song at first. In the beginning, I was like, okay, this is totally a Twice song, but then like that 2:15, 2:20 mark kicked in.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is happening right now? Because everyone knows that I am not a Twice fan. I do not like any of their previous singles. This one, like, I can't stop listening to it.
Whoa, Tina has seen the Twice light. She's on the Twice coaster.
But it's very heavily based on the production. I thought the production was really cool. I got kind of like a retro, like kind of 80s electro dance pop vibe.
Right.
And it was very like fun and pop and twinkly kind of.
Yes.
But it wasn't annoying to me.
Right.
It didn't cross that line into it being horribly annoying. What else was I gonna say?
Yeah, no, I think it almost reminds me of remember that like Katy Perry's Teenage Dream, the song.
It was very similar to that kind of.
It has that like
sound.
kind of like like very sort of, I don't even know what it like, just that. It's not dreamy, but it's just that sort of like very lush pop sound like that, like you create when you have like really nice guitar and really nice synths like working together. And like I think that's what like I was picking up on most with it too, is like it has, of course it does have that like a tinge of 80ness, things of that, but it just kind of has this like sort of,
it did have this kind of
feel good,
like, dreamy, enchanted vibe to it.
Yeah, so it's very warm. It's very
it just really drew me in.
I feel you.
And I actually really, really like the storybook element in the music video, where they actually flip through the storybook of all the fairy tales.
Right.
And I like that a lot more than in the previous release in TT, where they were all dressed up as literal, fairy tale characters, and I thought it was a little too over the top. This one I thought was more tasteful, and I like that it didn't hit you on top of the head with the storybook concept, but it still felt like I liked that it was kind of just encapsulated in that storybook, and then but you could still get the feeling of it's a slumber party, it's enchanting, and I really liked it, and it felt way less corny.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were very much going heavy with like the costumes with the
Yeah.
last couple of releases. Very cosplay, very and this one like felt a little more subtle.
Mhm.
They've definitely established themselves. They are honestly like at the we'll talk about it a little later, like how they're very much at the top of the game right now. And yeah, they're just
I thought they looked great.
yeah, and
Excuse me.
there were so many like fun moments, like like it was like sleepover goals. It was just like
Yeah.
slumber party goals.
Yeah.
It was just fun, and it didn't feel like I don't know if I thought they were trying. I don't think I thought they were trying too hard in the past, but like it was very clear that they were going hard with this,
Mhm.
with the looks, with the everything. They really were like, look at all the things we can do with
Yeah.
this group. This one was like, hey, we're cool. Like,
Yeah.
we
I
can do it.
totally agree. I totally
And
agree.
I think sometimes that plays a little more, probably, I feel like more. I saw like random people who just like love pop music were really getting into this song
Mhm.
too, and I'd never even seen people talk about Twice.
Right.
Certain people like,
Right.
just random writers I follow and stuff like that.
Yeah, it actually felt like they were going a bit edgier with the color
Yeah.
palette. I thought it was really dope.
Oh,
You know,
the stop.
editing
Yeah,
wise
the
and
stop animation stuff.
yeah, I thought that was cool. I
That
actually really liked the was it purple, yellow, and kind of
pink,
pink
yeah.
that went together. I thought
Yeah.
that worked well.
That did.
The
Yeah.
outfits were great.
Oh, see that part, it wasn't my favorite
Oh
part.
really?
Yeah. But I didn't yeah. I mean some outfits were cute, some not so much, but
Yeah, I mean a couple definitely missed the mark,
but yeah, yeah, I don't know. It's just, in this new generation world of K, like
yeah.
and also, Twice was, I'm sorry for all the chart chatter.
No,
I'm such a
people
nerd
love
with this
charts.
stuff. I'm such a
They
nerd
love
with
numbers.
I really, but they were selling really well on US iTunes too. Like they
Mhm.
released it, and so did BTS with Not Today, and both of them were kind of like neck and neck for a while. Like at
Oh.
first, Not Today was selling better, and then I think Twice is selling better now. So it's been really interesting to see, because I didn't sort of peg them as someone that the US would sort of pick up on.
Right.
Like groups like K.A.R.D make more sense given their sound, even, or BTS or 21 or things like that. But here they are. Twice is
I
picking
hear
up, and
you.
it's tougher to get into a song or to chart a song than it is to chart an album. So yeah, I'm really curious how they do.
What'd you think of their dance for Knock Knock?
Mm, is it bad that I can't remember it as well, which means I like it more, because that didn't mean it didn't have some like like sort of signature move that everyone's gonna be like
Yeah, I mean,
grossly
I
obsessed
thought
with.
it was cool just because, I mean, Knock Knock, that kind of, the title already sets you up for
Yeah.
the dance move, right? You're going to assume it's the knocking, but they didn't, I feel like they didn't overdo
Oh yeah.
it. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I thought it was cute that they knocked on their
Each
bandmate's
other. Yeah.
back.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it was, so there was some formation to it. It wasn't just like
Yeah.
random freaking knocking
Right.
everywhere.
In the middle
But
of
they
the
did
air.
add little other choreography in there. So I agree. I like that it wasn't so gimmicky,
Yeah, it was
you
cute.
know?
Or it was like it was not. Yeah, it was not so over the top. With
Yeah, I
like.
thought it was cute. So, I mean, I was down with it.
Yeah, I think if Tina's down with it, that says a lot. So, good
No, I
job.
really don't have any complaints except for like, I can't change the fact that they're Twice and their sound is this chanty kind of, very young girly sound, and it's not what I generally listen
Uh huh.
to.
Right.
But yeah, and I also they seem to love having weird expressions. I feel like when they were outside and they were locked out when the clock hit 12
Oh, that was funny.
and they had
Yeah.
to try to fight their way back in, and the camera zoomed in on like a few members' faces, and it was like a mixture of kind of bewilderment and confusion, and I
Yeah.
was like, this is too much. I don't even know what to do.
Yeah,
But
I like that. I like that. Jung Young, I think is how it's pronounced, got more lines this time.
mhm.
She's like, I think, a really underrated member, a really underrated singer too.
Mhm.
I'm just yeah, I'm a fan. I think it's like, I think they did some cool stuff this time. So I'm really I'm
Yeah.
I'm
And I thought it was
impressed.
cool how at the end it went full circle to the TT video where
Yes, exactly.
you know the knocking. That's from the final scene of the TT video where it was Halloween themed, right? And then the trick or treaters or whatever the kids were like turned around.
The kids were there, yes,
yeah,
exactly.
and because they heard the knocking, and the knocking is from this video.
Yeah.
Or
so
whatever,
I guess that means if it's full circle, we're not going to get lane 3, but that's okay.
I haven't listened to Ice Cream. Is that one?
Ice Cream. You actually might like this one too. It's actually more R&B. It's very down tempo, which is not what I was expecting from them either. It's very R&B. It's slower, definitely a different side of them. So I'm kind of, I feel like this was a good, not exactly a pivot, but like a nice step for Twice overall.
Yeah, agreed.
I was honestly like, I wasn't sure what to expect this time, but I don't know who. So yay, and definitely. But who gets your vote this week overall?
Oh, it's actually between Dean and Twice.
Whoa.
I'm gonna go with Dean just because the
so
song,
close.
The song has more longevity to me, so I would listen to that song on my own time.
I see.
More,
okay.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just keep listening to the Twice song. I mean, I listen to the K.A.R.D song a lot too, but I do keep listening to Twice. I think I'm going to give it to them this week though, Twice, because I think it was the right move.
It's tough. Like I think this week has been very, very,
strong release. Strong. Yeah. Hopefully people aren't like mad at us for being so positive, but hey.
I know. I feel like we're being boring.
I know. We're sorry.
We're like showering everyone with praise.
There's no shade to be thrown this year. I mean, this day. Well,
who knows? Still time.
There's still time. Just kidding. Yes. But yes, let's let us know, of course, what you guys think of this week's releases and vote on your favorite release on Fuse.tv. Let's get quickly into some charts. It's an interesting mix of things we got. We, of course, look at the top 5 songs on U.S. iTunes K-pop charts right now. Coming in at number 5 is A Supplementary Story, You Never Walk Alone, Tina. Number 5 by BTS. The sort of, it's the I guess I would call it the outro track or the goodbye track on the You Never Walk Alone album. It's fun. I just literally will walk around my house and just be like, you never walk alone. My roommate's always like, what are you doing? I was just like, I just keep singing that one line.
I'm just
can't help it.
Wandering and muttering.
Just wandering and muttering. Number 4, Don't Recall by K.A.R.D.
Look at that.
Look at that. Number 3, Spring Day by BTS. Staying strong.
Love it.
Number 2, Nah 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 by Twice, Knock Knock.
Nice.
So it's coming right there. And then, so I was wrong, actually. Not Today is sort of ahead of Twice right now. Not Today, BTS is at number 1. But this actually is the perfect segment into our little deep cut of the day because basically the topic of the day is BTS versus Twice. ? Because if you've been keeping up with the news, it's there was this kind of bizarre story where it seemed like Big Hit Entertainment, which is BTS's label, their website, that houses all of BTS's, news and information and release stuff, got seemingly hacked, and there was a notice put up with a YouTube video of Twice's Knock Knock video, which on one hand is hilarious, on one hand is sketchy, on one hand is like nerve-wracking, that like something could get hyped. But, a lot of fans were wondering, like, what is this? Is this just a joke? Is this a troll? Someone, trolling, BTS and Big Hit? Is it a fan war, to get, because BTS and Twice, they're certainly sort of at the leaders right now of this current, K-pop, generation world. And, they are always going against each other neck and neck with, who has the most YouTube views in 9 hours or 9 hours in a certain amount of hours, et cetera, et cetera.
I mean, when you look at new releases, the YouTube pages, and you look at comments, like 80% of the comments is, Come on, everyone.
Yeah.
More views.
17 million in 48 hours. You know, it's like those kind of
Everyone's
things.
repping their respective
Yeah.
fan bases.
And these groups keep beating each other's records, which is so crazy, you know. So it almost makes sense that they would put a twice YouTube video, you know, in such a, you know, spot. Yeah, or was it a joke, or was it yeah, these kind of things. And I don't know, we thought it'd be kind of interesting to kind of discuss this a little bit, and also just kind of discuss this group in general.
I just thought
These
it was
groups-
weird because they're not from, I guess, I don't know, like rival agencies.
It's
If
not
it
like
had
a-
been like at SM, yeah, SM or
SM and
JYP, or not JYP. What am I saying?
Tina,
SM
get
and
it together.
YG
Yeah.
or something like that. Or if it were even two female groups against each other, or
Yeah.
two male groups.
Uh-huh.
They're not even. I've never thought of them in the same on the same page or in the same, you know, from the same angle or all of that. So.
Right. I 100% agree, because usually it is like it's a boy band thing, or it's a girl group thing, or like it's a YG versus SM thing. But like it seems like these kind of fan bases are sort of coming for each other, which is like so fascinating.
Like it feels random, but once you think about it, maybe it's not, just because these two groups are more or less at the top of their respective,
Yeah.
you know, lanes. Lane, no pun intended. BTS, biggest boy group right now.
Right.
Female group, like would you say they are the biggest female group right now, sales wise at least? Or
Sales wise, for sure. I mean, Girls' Generation has been kind of quiet,
Right.
You know, these past,
in terms of like
almost 2
this
years.
generation. Of
Oh yeah,
K-pop
yeah, yeah.
acts.
I mean, for sure. I mean, Twice is sort of at this. You know, they had one of the top 10 selling albums of last year, which girl groups very rarely show up on, much less
right.
unless you're Girls' Generation. They very rarely show up on those like kind of year-end charts. So they were right up there with BTS and EXO and
Right.
17 and GOT7 and things like that.
Didn't Twice win one of the big year-end awards
Um.
at the K.A.R.D Junes? I can't remember what they won.
Oh, did they?
Because BTS definitely won for like
yeah.
boy
Oh no,
group or
Twice
whatever.
won. You know, I'm always so kind of wary of those awards. I feel
Yeah,
like they're
I
all just
mean,
bots.
Of
but
course.
Sorry. You look to Fuse for the real winners of things. But yeah, it is. Yeah, it is interesting that, you know, because usually I feel like the boys and girls are they're kind of separated. They're in different lanes. But you know,
Right.
they just always, you know, it's boys versus boys and girls versus girls, and it's really tough. You know, it wasn't like ever like Girls' Generation versus Big Bang. You know, like
No, you always saw them, or maybe this is just a sign of the times changing within K-pop,
Yeah.
but you always saw them do more collaborations, if anything, and people liked pairing them off.
yes,
Right?
exactly. Like Wonder Bang. Can you remember? You
Yeah.
know, Wonder Girls and Big Bang. You know,
I also thought it was interesting because I feel like JYP artists are generally controversy free.
yeah, exactly. Like,
Right?
what is this group?
No
what,
one really has negative ill feelings toward Wonder Girls, toward 2PM, toward
Yeah.
I mean Miss A.
They tend to have the more calmer fans.
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
just very
They're-
supportive
They're
fans.
more because they're more middle of the spectrum, right?
Yes,
They're not
totally.
super like, I don't want, I guess like more conservative leaning
Yeah.
traditional K-pop like SM. Although SM has been going outside the box more lately, but
They have.
but
Love
yeah,
it.
they're in the traditional sense. Like JYP is very very, you know, friend to everyone.
I mean,
So-
literally. I mean, he's the one showing up on the SM station releases, or like,
Yeah.
you know, going on YG's reality shows, or
Mhm.
like, you know, yeah, like JYP is cool. He's like he really is like that friend that everyone has.
Yeah.
You know, or they are the company. He
Yeah.
himself included. But yeah, it's very interesting that like sort of like Twice is sort of like taking on this sort of new beast form of like, you know, K-pop machine. And you know, like, you know, Twice is the only girl group that has like, or the only girl group to like, those YouTube numbers are insane. All 3 singles I think have over 100 million views on YouTube. They did that in like record amount of time for girl groups. Like, they're just, I don't know what's inspiring this humongous push for them, But
Yeah.
it's just really fascinating to watch in particular. And then to say that they're almost competition to a boy band like BTS is
Right.
almost sort of a further message of like where they're at as a group.
Do you think it's also because they know that
BTS
the
fans are
other
intense.
biggest fan base and best selling fan base on their level is BTS?
After school. Oh, okay.
See what you did there? Like, I'm almost thinking that they don't care who that act is. It just happened to be BTS.
That's interesting.
It could have been EXO, or it could have
Right.
been, I'm trying to think of someone else who's kind of new. But then I'm thinking, what if it's like GOT7, someone from their own agency? They wouldn't do that.
No, I don't think
They
so.
definitely wouldn't
So,
sabotage their own agency.
or what's your question with that though?
Well, my question is,
Why did they
it's
target
not like
them?
they're targeting BTS
Oh, I see.
because they're BTS or because BTS fans did anything particular.
Oh,
Maybe
oh.
they're just threatened by the fact that
Oh.
internationally, maybe.
No, right. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
This is totally just like a theory.
Well, I think, if it was a Twice fan coming to stir whatever up, I think they were actually being pretty smart about it because they know, I mean, I know this just from like literally Twitter because these BTS fans are just so reactive. I mean, there's a reason that BTS is doing so well, even in America too, because they have a really strong, dedicated, like very passionate fan base that work like wait on pins and needles to like retweet and share. And, look at the CEO of Big Hit Entertainment's Twitter. It's like 60,000 retweets every hour. Like it's insane. And I think they knew if they posted like if they were really looking to play around with this, they would know that if they post something on BTS's website, that is going to get them the clicks, that is going to get them the views, because a lot of fans will just dive right in there and click on what they see because it's content, it's what this group has given them, and it was a hack, it seems like. So it's almost like the ultimate like way of getting the group to pull ahead of their biggest competition. You know what I mean? Not because BTS is the opposite of Twice or anti-Twice or the antithesis of Twice, but because they also have such a passionate fan base. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of how I took it, as like, oh, this is quite brilliant. If this was if this was like a huge Twice fan trying to get those views, for YouTube, because then it's just bragging rights at that point. It's more bragging rights. That's how I feel.
What else is in the aftermath of this,
In
other
the
than
aftermath?
pissed off fan bases, and flooding of YouTube comment sections?
Yeah, I mean, I was looking just through the comments on just websites and things like that. What I think is also kind of interesting about it all is that it's like Knock Knock and BTS's Not Today video came out on the same day. BTS kind of I think they pulled ahead ultimately with more views in the same amount of time, but it really is apples and oranges, and like
It really is.
and like I don't understand why the fans are fighting so much. It's not like an all-out war like it seems to be with EXO and BTS, but it is kind of interesting the timing of it all, because BTS is Not Today, which I know you're not like the biggest fan of the song, but compared to like Spring Day. But that video, I got the sense that it's all about, I think it opens with a line like, we might not be at the top tomorrow, but like, or in the future, but like that day is not today. And like, it's kind of this commentary of them being at the head of the pack right now, but there are so many people vying for that spot. And, there's a lot of imagery of like them running ahead of this pack of people coming after them, faceless people coming after them. It's a really interesting video.
BTS often talks about or sings about having a fire lit under their ass, and always working hard, always fighting for that top spot.
Yeah, I mean, I think in particular, they're not coming from a YG or an SM or JYP where there's sort of at least this sort of guaranteed interest in them. They are from a small agency, a smaller agency, and granted that agency is getting pretty big now, but although they still only have basically basically only have BTS still.
right.
But I will be so curious if there's a new boy. There's rumors of a new boy band actually at Big Hit, but
I would hate to be in the shadow of BTS though,
well,
or to
I
have to
mean,
live up to those standards.
yeah. Well, I mean, remember like like even think about like what happened with like Big Bang, Winner and Icon followed up. They were kind of in the shadow, and
Yeah.
then we stopped hearing about. They did really well upon release, and then we just stopped hearing about them. And it's a tough world out there. It's a very tough world out there. But I did think that timing was very interesting because I was like, here they are, sort of making a commentary on their place in K-pop, and then here we go now with like some group coming for that, the group basically just show competition to them, and then kind of this weird hacking thing. It all seems a little too cosmic and sort of in its own
Do you think anything will happen in revenge, quote unquote?
Oh my gosh,
will BTS fans try to pull something? Well, I guess they don't really have they don't have the element of surprise anymore. So
yeah. I mean, right,
not to try to stir anything up, but I would be pissed, and I know they both have very passionate fan bases.
Yeah, and I'm kind of curious to see how the numbers turned out in the end, but I don't really know where to find them at the moment. But like maybe, yeah, because I highly doubt Twice and BTS are going to release something on the same day again, given after all this that happened. But yeah, I think I don't know, retaliation. I don't know. I mean, I think it maybe like the fan base could do something, and that'd be really interesting.
I mean, it seems like they're already arguing a lot and hitting back via forums and comment sections, if anything. But yeah, who knows? I would. I mean, also, I would hate that one person or a few people's actions reflects an entire fan base.
Right, exactly. It seems like just some funny person. I don't know. I mean, not to say like it's funny, but like it is like interesting that it happens. I'm
more impressed than anything. How do they even do that?
Oh, so here's the I know, right? Like, how do you people, and also like, why are you doing it? Like, you must have better things to do with your life. So this is how it turned out. This according to a website that so last week, BTS set a new record on YouTube for being the K-pop group that had the most views within 24 hours of Spring Day, achieving 9.4 million views on the first day. Twice's Knock Knock was released at midnight on February 20th. They broke the record with 9.8 million views. Who is counting this stuff, by the way? Are people just looking at the counter? Like, is like YouTube confirming all this? Like, I don't know. Fans are so weird. But then BTS had, I guess BTS's Not Today video, they actually released it 30 minutes later than Twice's. That was first on the V app. And then they set a record by getting 10.9 million views in the first 24 hours. That's crazy.
That's wild.
So
bananas.
It is bananas. I mean, yeah, you fans are incredible. You scare me, but I love it, and I'm obsessed with you, and I want you to put my music video on BTS's website next time. No, actually, just put my Twitter. Yeah, you guys could do that. I need the followers. I need the promo.
As if Jeff needs more followers.
I need more promo. Sorry, I'm just getting silly right now. But yes, I don't know. I mean, yeah, here's my takeaway. Here's my ultimate takeaway. And maybe it's controversial. And I'm not condoning hacking. I'm not condoning rivalry, bitterness between groups. I'm just saying, and I've talked about this in the past, that I was very nervous when you stopped seeing groups like Big Bang and 21 and Wonder Girls, Girls' Generation, these groups that really defined an era of K-pop. I got nervous when they were not as active, not being as active. But then these new groups are coming with such fervor and excitement and passion by these fans, and it's way more international than it was in the past. And
it's in not a new, but an even more advanced digital age.
Yes,
where you're constantly online. Social media is
everywhere.
More or less, yeah, it's everywhere. It's your primary tool.
Yeah, it's ingrained into K-pop now. Before they'd be like, we tweet, maybe. Yeah. This group doesn't have a Twitter, but now it's like it really is there. The Instagrams are there. It's very. it's very exciting to
There
me
is-
in that way.
Yeah, and see,
that
it just makes K-pop even more accessible.
Yes,
so.
exactly. And I was honestly nervous, and I actually you can check me out. I gave this interview with CNN about because they were seeing it as we're hearing 4 minute Kara Wonder Girls all disbanding. Is K-pop over? Is K-pop on the decline? I'm like, yeah, that doesn't look good, but you guys need to see these other groups because wow, like it's crazy, you know.
Right.
So yeah, that's my takeaway on all this. So
Sure.
BTS versus Twice ? Which team are you on? BTS Twice, or are you
Oh,
just
man.
on Team K-pop? You know.
Let's not stoke the fire here.
Let's start the fire. If you've listened this long, you have some fire in you, and we want to
I
ignite
will
it.
say that, as someone who I liked BTS before, didn't care for Twice before, I'm like all about both new releases.
The tides are changing.
Like Spring Day is probably my most played
Really?
of the past week.
Oh,
I love
wow.
it so much.
I wasn't expecting that.
I love that song. That's like I want to say like within K-pop, probably one of my go-to kind of sounds. Just because like
Wow.
I do like a lot of hip hop, but that I feel like you have to be in a certain mood for that.
Mhm.
It's not like longevity wise.
Sure.
Not as.
Yeah.
I
There's
guess
nothing.
so R&B in this is probably more.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. It's not trend driven, which plays to its
it's not.
advantage.
It's like more.
Blood, Sweat, and
Just
Tears was very
emotion
trendy.
driven for me, and like I
Yes,
don't have to be in a
totally.
certain mood. I'm always in the mood for a song like this. Like
Nice.
commute to work,
There you go.
commute from work, just chilling. Like
Love it.
it's a very versatile song, in my opinion.
Sweet.
And
Love
then
it.
Twice, I'm just surprised that I like the song. So my standards are a little bit different.
See, that's what Twice's TT is for me. I could be in
Really,
any mood
I guess
and
I was
play
just
it.
a step behind you then, delayed.
Yes. Well, thank you guys as always for listening and checking out K-Stop. So much good stuff to chat about. Hit us up on Twitter. We love the comments from this week. Keep them coming.
Yeah.
And yes,
Hope you liked our extremely positive episode.
that was a pretty. I mean, we were getting pretty nitty gritty with the critiques, even because
Yeah.
it was just a strong release week. So
Tune in for more shade. The
more
regular
shade next week. Your regularly
Regularly
scheduled
scheduled.
shade will be back next week. I'm
Yes.
sure. Who's releasing? I don't know, but we'll see.
We got,
But yes, thank you guys as always. And this has been Jeff.
and this is Tina.
See you next week. Bye bye.